Now we would like to commence press conference by Foreign Minister Kamikawa. The floor is yours.
I have 2 points to make. Today, it is exactly 1 year since I have assumed the position of Foreign Minister. During the past year, there was the visits made to Ukraine under war, as well as Israel and Palestine with the escalation in place. I have visited 4 countries and regions for the issues besetting the international community. I have held 150 bilateral meetings with leaders of the world. Beset with challenges to the international order, inclusive of the Ukraine aggression into Ukraine, as well as the Middle East situation. The world has been beset with division and confrontation. During this time, Japan has fulfilled the important role of the G7 presidency, as well as a member of the UN Security Council. Against this backdrop, we issued an important, strong message at the G7 Hiroshima summit on the rule of law, as well as a world without nuclear arms. On my part, I have been working very hard to implement the Hiroshima Action Plan. As Japan is faced with the most difficult and complex security environment, inclusive of economy, cyber, as well as other matters, the deepening of relations with allies and like-minded nations have been emphasized as well. In July, with the U.S. and Philippines, in August with India, and last week with Australia. In the past 2 months, we have held 2+2 meetings with 4 nations. This has led to the realization of deepening our security policies. There are global issues that cannot be resolved by one country alone. Against this backdrop, strengthening of the relations with Global South, as well as through dialogue and collaboration, creating together and working with partners have also been emphasized. The vitality of the Global South must be linked to the growth of the Japanese economy. Therefore, in order to realize this, we have set up the co-creation platform. As a part of this, to the diplomatic missions overseas, we have identified people in charge, and activities are already underway. By implementing such diplomacies, 80 years after the war, Japan has received trust and expectations from the international community as a peace-loving nation. I have felt this firsthand. In order to meet this trust and expectations, I have also incorporated the WPS, Women, Peace, Security views. So that we can lead the world in terms of diplomacy toward peace and collaboration. This has received support from many countries of the world. Specifically, progress has been made in terms of establishment of WPS task force. Second, the specific project implementation with the perspective of WPS. Number 3, based on WPS, the collaboration network has been strengthened. In order to link these achievements to the future generations going forward, I am committed to the basic philosophies of the rule of law as well as human dignity. And I will continue to make efforts to maintain and strengthen a free and open international order based on the rule of law.
Second point. I heard on the report that due to the flood in southern east of Bangladesh, which occurred on 21st of August and on, many precious lives were being lost. I would like to offer my heartfelt condolences to those who were being impacted, and at the same time, I would like to express my condolences to the bereaved family. At the same time, I would like to extend my sympathies to those who are affected. Due to the damage at today's cabinet meeting, we decided, I myself had made the comment that we are going to provide the emergency grant through UNICEF and UNHCR with the amount of $1 million US. From the perspective of humanitarian aspects, and the long, amicable bilateral relationship, we are going to provide the support for the water, sanitation, and the temporary shelters. At the same time, through Japan Platform, or JPF, the Japanese NGOs will provide the support of about $2.16 million. The decision had been made on the 2nd. As for the Japanese government, under the leadership of the Muhammad Yunus, the chief advisor of the interim government, we do hope that the shift to the new democratic government would be conducted in the peaceful manner so that the Bangladesh will be back on the development track in the stable manner. Under the strategic partnership in the future, we will continue to provide the support for the recovery of the devastated area and continue to collaborate for the sake of development and the prosperity of the Bangladesh so that we can further develop that bilateral relationship. Now, if you have any questions, please make sure to move on to the microphone when you are appointed. Yomiuri Shimbun, Kamidama-san.
This is Kamimura of Yomiuri Shimbun. Now, I have a question regarding the relationship with the foreign minister's job as well as the LDP presidency. You have mentioned that it's been 1 year. Has there been any limitations you felt as the foreign minister? You're running for the presidency of LDP. Once you become the president of LDP or prime minister, what kind of diplomacy will you implement? In September, when I took the position, I accompanied Prime Minister Kishida to the UN General Assembly in the Security Leaders Conference. I saw that Prime Minister Kishida sitting next to the President Zelensky right behind them. And the top leader of the countries have been fulfilling their responsibility with the destiny of each country placed upon them. This is something that I felt very strongly. In April, when I accompanied Prime Minister Kishida to the United States on a state visit, in the Japan-US summit meeting is what I also attended, and I had the same impression as well. Japan's destiny was on the line in taking part in this meeting very closely as the foreign minister. Obviously, a foreign minister is an important role to fulfill the role of diplomacy. China and Russia are trying to change the status quo using force. Therefore, the international situation is very tense. Against this backdrop, as the situation becomes more difficult, the practical matters must be dealt with by the foreign minister. However, the responsibility of the nation must be fulfilled by the prime minister of the country. The prime minister is ultimately responsible for the nation. This is something I felt very strongly over the past 1 year. Based on these experiences as the Prime Minister, I am aspiring to become the Prime Minister and take on this responsibility. First and foremost, as the Prime Minister, what I must fulfill is to establish a strong personal bond and relationship with the new President of the United States. This is the first and foremost challenge for me. The international community is becoming fluid increasingly, which means that the top leader relationship that is of the base Japan-U.S. relations is of utmost importance. In establishing this U.S.-Japan alliance, the top leader relationship will play an important role. There are certain authoritarian nations where the authority is concentrated only at the top. For diplomacy with such nations, the Prime Minister will take on a very important responsibility as well as risk. This is also something I feel very strongly. It is important to find solutions through a dialogue at the very top. This is the responsibility of the President of the LDP as well as the Prime Minister of Japan. Furthermore, in terms of economic diplomacy, the promotion thereof is also the responsibility of the Prime Minister as top sales. This is something that I have observed on many occasions. To the top leader of the partner country, the Prime Minister must promote the interests of Japan. This is very important to fulfill the responsibility of the Prime Minister as well as fulfill the expectations. Specifically, at the Osaka Kansai Expo that will be held next year, this will be showcasing the possibilities going forward, dealing with the global warming as well as digital and cyber. This will serve as the platform. Many countries are expected to participate in this expo. Matching amongst companies must be promoted using this forum. We have already been making this effort. Having experienced the past year as the foreign minister, I fully realize the importance of the diplomacy at the top, and I am fully committed to take on this responsibility as the Prime Minister. This is my aspiration in terms of the responsibility of the Prime Minister.
Hanakawa-san from Sankei Shimbun, please. My name is Harakawa. You mentioned about the UN General Assembly in the last year. You participated together with Prime Minister, but from 24th there will be the high-level week being planned. In line with it, ministerial meetings are expected to take place. According to my understanding, as for yesterday, you announced to run for the presidential election, and time-wise it overlaps with the peak of that the campaign. I have asked the following question before. In this year's the UN General Assembly, according to what you have just mentioned, as a foreign minister that bears the practical matters, I would like to know whether you are planning on participating at the UN General Assembly this year. If you have not decided that, would you, as a foreign minister, like to participate at the General Assembly or not, is the question that I have. Now, international society is facing a composite crisis. It is important that we show Japan's commitment to the multilateralism based on the at the United Nations. As for Prime Minister Kishida, he is planning on participating at the UN General Assembly if the circumstances allow, and the future summit will be attended as well. Well, whether I will participate at the UN General Assembly or not has not been decided at this moment, but as I mentioned already, as a person responsible for the Japanese diplomacy, I need to support Prime Minister Kishida. I am going to continuously deal with the matter appropriately to make sure that the Japanese diplomacy would not be compromised. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Please be succinct. My name is Nishinaka, a free journalist. The 1st of September was the 101st year of anniversary after the Kanto Great Earthquake. From China, the affected people have come to Japan, and they have met with the officials in the government asking for apologies to the Japanese government in terms of the treatment during the earthquake. And they seem to have confirmed the official documents relating to this incident. However, the dialogue amongst the government officials have been suspended. And last year, there have been questions raised regarding the official documents at the upper and the lower house. The Central Disaster Prevention Council of the Cabinet Office has established a document regarding expert investigation made, and the Fukuda cabinet, you were the minister in charge of official document management. Therefore, I am sure you are aware of the details. Against this backdrop, at the Kanto earthquake, there is a massacre that was made for the Koreans as well as Chinese during this time. And this was in order to avoid persecution of such people. Do you have intention of verifying this as well as to respond to the aggrieved parties? On the part of the government, as far as we have investigated, we have not been able to identify records to verify the facts that you have mentioned. There is no change in terms of the government's understanding. At any rate, when there is a disaster occurring, it is important for the government to ensure the safety and security of all people who have been affected. I believe that on the part of the government, unjust prejudice based on ethnicity of nationality and leading to violence as well as criminal acts should not be tolerated in any society. With this, we'd like to conclude. Thank you.